Hello everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Since I'm on my new channel, I don't think I've ever been in the corner before, but this is the corner. This is where my desk is, my computer is. Usually I read my stories from here. This one's actually in my notes, so I could have read it from my iPad, but we're always on the couch, so I decided to change up the scenery. Of course, I was supposed to be off this week. I was supposed to be on vacation, which, I mean, I'm still taking the vacation, but I'm not where I was supposed to be. But that's because my friend got the you know what. Yeah, because we're still in the pandemic technically. And yeah, and it was for her, so we're gonna do it another time. So I decided there were so many ideas I had for this week. Of course, I want to watch the second 365 movie, even though I feel like I was torturing myself watching the first one. Jack Harlow's album is getting terrible reviews. I wanted to listen to it anyway, though. But I also feel like if I did the 360 movie, I should do it the second one. But I'm not feeling motivated and up to it right now. So I wanted to. Oh, and then Kehlani came out with a new album. I love Kehlani, so I love them. So that wouldn't have been a hard thing for me to do. But the Jack Harlow one and 365, watching the second one, we're going to see what I come up with for next week. Maybe I won't just do either one of them. But I feel like, I should at some point soon do the 365 movie because, it's already out. And, this is something I should do. But yeah, I'm going to read you a story instead, though, that I wrote a long time ago. One thing I hate about, I don't even know. One thing I hate about iPad or like notes for Apple is like the formatting is weird. You can't really format it. But then if I have Word on my phone, you can't format it like you can format it on the computer. So it's like two separate problems. But yeah, so basically, this story is called Waiting Room, and it's about two sisters. One of them was already a teen mom, and the other one's trying to find out if she's also going to be a teen mom, and the mom was a teen mom. So yeah, I wrote this in 2013, March 1st, 2013 at 6:41 p.m. I do want to say, from my personal experience, I have never been a teen mom, but my mom and my grandma were. I broke the cycle, but I'm also like 30 now with no children, so I mean, I would like children. I mean, I feel like I got a good 20 years, give or take, given my health, who I can find, technology, varying degrees of success, of course, But yeah, that's what I feel like. I got time, so. But anyway, so here it's called, so the main character, her name is Tara, and she's there with her sister, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I even gave the sister a name. I did not, for some reason, give the sister a name. So that reminds me of me reviewing the Sparkle movie. In the first movie, they just call her sister. I did the same thing. So I'm going to have to give her a name. But right now, she doesn't have a name. So here goes. I was shaking too much. My sister tried to get us through to the doctor faster. I just wanted to get my results. The nasally receptionist lady responded, "We're doing all we can, ma'am." Then she continued filing her nails, impatiently. My sister hissed, "Maybe all you professionals here are too busy filing your nails." The receptionist threw down her nail file loudly and just popped her gum at my sister while giving her the stink eye. "Sit down, you're causing a scene." I pulled at her arm to get her to sit down. "Alright, you okay? I'm scared. This is taking too long." "What you scared of?" She rubbed my shoulder, trying to ease me. "I could be pregnant," I whispered, embarrassed. "You love your nephew, right?" She raised her eyebrows. "Of course I do," I said defensively. "Then you'll love this baby just the same. I know where you've been at, sis, scared, seemingly alone, broke, but you'll get through it." Love has to be the first thing you feel for your child. Otherwise, you don't need to have one. My sister was very wise since she had her son Damien when she was just 16, which I feel like that's true. With all these laws coming out trying to regulate women's bodies, I feel like, of course, you have to want and love a child. And then I feel like there's going to be more, with all these regulations, there's going to be more women who don't want their child and don't love their child, and they're just not going to treat them well. And then also there's like this thing, oh, just give them for adoption. But the foster system is terrible. And I've heard stories of people, of children being in nice, safe homes and going somewhere else and being abused. So it's like nothing is a perfect system. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go on too long of a rant for that, because I'm going about that, but I'm not going to. So let's get back to the story. I seen her struggling when she lived at home, but there I was following in her footsteps. At least she could afford to get her own place and allow me to stay with her. I didn't even have a job and barely went to class. Not just out of spite, but I hated going to boring classes for 8 hours of my life. I didn't want to drop out, though. I knew it would be harder for me to finish school if I dropped out early. There I was, 17, waiting for a pregnancy test that could change my life forever. I played in my sister's recently dyed dark blonde dreads, which I just looked at a video, and apparently dreads is not a bad thing. It's like a term from like the actual, I think, Rastafari, where they have like a meaning for it. I forget the meaning. But now, usually I would have switched it to locks. But now that I know it's not a bad connotation. Just like, picnic, it had a bad connotation. But now, I mean, it's still like horrible that like people still to this day lynch people. And then back then they would make a whole event of it. So, I mean, it's not like, it's like better that it's not really called picnic because it's called pick a, you know what. But, it's just like the connotations that people put, especially on black people, like really negative things happening to us. Like even recently, the Buffalo mass shooting, So, but yeah, I just want to say that was a nervous habit of mine, to play in other people's hair when I was anxious. My mom hated it though, because she was not a touchy-feely person. You could barely hug her without her melting like some evil witch. I left her house because I felt like she was too strict. She allowed me to go to homecomings and prom at least, but was not fond of anything considered fun, not dealing with school or church. I know someone who raised their children like that, and they didn't even let to go to homecoming or prom. But I'm not gonna mention who it was. But it was one of my family members, which is like, you really just want your kids to have no fun? Like, dang, wow. All because you think it's gonna lead to sin. Wow. Party pooper. But anyway. Okay. I knew some very religious people, but my mother was obsessed with trying to do so many godly things, she often ran herself into the ground. Even though our pastor preached many times, works are not what save you, that your faith in God's grace saves you, she never believed it. She thought if she did really great things and tried very hard not to sin, only then she could be saved. It was very annoying, and she was superstitious too. That combination of religious fanatic and superstitious paranoia made her unbearable to live with. When my sister told her she was pregnant, my mom said, "Your sin has been exposed now. I thought I did everything I could to save you from my past fate." Which is like, dang, way to make her not feel good. Which she does say that she didn't feel good. Then burst into tears, which made my sister feel worse. Even though my mom was a drama queen, she too was a teen mom, so she knew what my sister would face. My grandma was a cold woman, though, and kicked my mom out, then refused to see her grandchild. My mom always tries to visit my sister Damien and I every other Saturday. She rarely missed her Saturday visits unless she was ill, very ill, and even then she risked giving us her illness to see us. I did like that about her, that even though she was disappointed in my sister, she never shunned her. We had only seen our grandma a few times after I was born, and our father and mother pretended to be married. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to make them have the same father and mother, but we're just going to go with it for now. Okay. But, I mean, you can have two kids by the same person and not be married. Okay, let's get back. Um, okay, yeah. So the father and mother were pretending to be married. Once my grandma learned the truth, she shunned my mother again. I felt bad for my mom, but she told me, "You don't need anyone in your life who doesn't support you, no matter what wrong you've done." Then she paused, as if she realized that her trying to be perfect by doing good things was just to make her mother happy. I had figured that out after a while because we lived in the city next to our grandma, and my mom's deeds would get back to her. Out of the blue, she called my mom, and my mom had put it on speakerphone. With a cold tone, my grandmother said, "Oh, Sherry, I see you finally did something right. I never seen my mom cry so hard in my life, and at 15, I didn't know how to comfort her. I just got off the couch and hugged her tightly. My grandma, I guess, feeling bad, hung up without saying another word. My mom said, 'You're a good girl, Tara. Thank you.' Thinking back on it, I felt bad disappointing my mom by having another one of her daughters possibly get knocked up again, especially since I was supposed to be a good girl." So yeah, me and my friend were talking about that today. Like your parents, especially like parents before us, I don't know if it's Gen X or whatever, but like millennials and Gen Z, like we realize that children are their own people. They are human beings. They have their own desires, they have their own wants, they have their own needs, and they're not just there for you to be like, "Oh, you're gonna be a mini me," which is like not. It's not really what kids want. And that also reminds me of watching a video of toddlers and tiaras and how you can tell that people basically are projecting like what they wanted for themselves onto their children and projecting this image of like adulthood and beauty and standards and unhealthy beauty standards of that onto their children. So yeah, that's not a good thing. But yeah, I was talking to my friend about that. Like, when we have our future kids, we want to treat them like human beings. And even the people that I know, like my friends who have children, they're treating their children like human beings, like they're individual people and not just property and not just, people you can just boss around and make them do whatever they want. And I remember when growing up, one of my parents was upset because they were like, "You can't be mad at me because I'm your parent." And it's like, yeah, I can actually. And that reminds me, I was looking at this post on Instagram where it talks about parents being okay to say sorry to your child and to like acknowledge that when you're wrong and not just bring them food or like buy them something and then never say sorry. Or be like, "Oh, well, I give you a roof over your head and I give you food." Like, that's not an apology. None of that's an apology. Sometimes adults are wrong. And it's okay to be like, "You know what, baby? I'm sorry. I did something wrong to you and I'm taking accountability." Because if you never say you're sorry, what makes you think your kids are just going to grow up and they're going to say that they're sorry for stuff? You know what I mean? Even though this is an extreme example, they could just run you over. But you never apologize, so they're not going to apologize for running you over. They're just going to be like, "I just ran you over. I'm going to visit you in the hospital with flowers, and that's my apology." Even though definitely they should be in jail for that example. But you get what I'm saying. Basically, we want to raise better people than we got right now. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that story. I know I'm supposed to be off this week, but I guess it's good. I can build this channel up. I need to also upload other videos like I keep saying every single week. I'm going to work on it, y'all. I really am. But yeah, I will see you all next week. Y'all stay safe. Have a great beginning of summer. Yeah, I'll see you all next week.